What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Real and Respawn podcast. I'm your host, Steven Hudson, and today we have a very special episode. It's basically going to be a marathon. We're going to be in here for about an hour and a half, per se. With me today, I have someone you know very well, my good friend and fellow gamer, Garrett. How are you, Garrett?
I'm doing great, and today we also have our special guest and our former producer, Ari.
Hi.
Today we have a lot to jump around. We're not focusing on just one topic. We have a lot to get through. So I think we start with some questions. I came up with these questions, more like pulled them from offline, or online. But
supposed to be authentic, Garrett.
Yeah, they are totally. They're a combination of video games and movies.
Okay.
So question 1. What is thought to be the first video game created in 1958 and becoming popular in the 1970s? A. Pong, B. Frogger, C. Pac-Man, or D. Crossy Road?
It's not Frogger. It's not Frogger. It's not. It could be Pong.
I think it's A. I think it's Pong.
Is it Pong?
It is Pong.
Oh, okay.
Good job.
I'm a trivia
Where's the
master.
check mark? All right, next question. In Mario Kart, the power-up that seeks out the player in first position and explodes on impact is a shell that is what color? A. Blue, B. Pink, C. Red, or D. Yellow?
Wait, can you repeat that?
In Mario Kart, the power-up that seeks out the player in first position and explodes on impact is a shell that is what color? A. Blue, B. Pink, C. Red, or D. Yellow?
I think
I know this one is A.
It's blue?
It's blue.
It's blue.
It's blue.
It's blue.
I swear it's blue.
It's blue?
It's blue.
Yeah, it is.
It's blue.
Dude, I was
Good
gonna say
job.
yellow.
I told you. Dude, I was gonna, there's
no yellow
I don't
shells.
play Mario Kart.
Oh, wow.
Bruh. All right, this is a long question, but I think you'll get it. Okay. This game is the third entry in an extremely popular post-apocalyptic video game franchise. Was set in an area known as Capital Wasteland, which was the ruins of Washington, D.C. and the surrounding countryside. What is the name of this franchise, which shares its title with the term for residual radioactive material in the atmosphere?
Fallout?
Is it A, Fortnite Save the World, B, Fallout, C, Halo, or D, Call of Duty?
Fallout.
It's Fallout. I was playing
It's
it the
Fallout.
other day. It's Fallout.
It's Fallout.
Good job. Yeah, it is Fallout. All right. Here we go.
Wait, hold
What-
on. Is this movie questions now?
No, still got a few more.
Okay.
What 1996 video game kicked off a long-running film and game franchise and elevated the horror genre of video games into the mainstream? A, Friday the 13th, B, Last of Us, C, The Walking Dead, or D, Resident Evil?
Resident Evil.
Dang. Yeah. All right, movie questions. In Spider-Man No Way Home, which version of Spider-Man successfully saves MJ after she falls off a building? A, Andrew Garfield, B, Tobey Maguire, C, Tom Holland, or D, Miguel O'Hara?
Wait, what's the question again?
Question is, in Spider-Man No Way Home, which version of Spider-Man successfully saves MJ after she falls off a building? Is it A, Andrew Garfield, B, Tobey Maguire, C, Tom Holland, or D, Miguel O'Hara?
You said No Way Home?
Yeah.
It's A. It's Andrew Garfield.
Is it Andrew Garfield?
You guys final answer?
I'll lock in
Final
Andrew
answer.
Garfield.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is. All right, next question.
Gary, is this easy mode? Come on, dude. This is so easy.
All right. What was the name of the missile that Tony Stark was demonstrating in Afghanistan just before his convoy was attacked?
Okay. Say the answer.
No.
Okay.
A, Hiroshima, B, Nagasaki, C, Nuclear Betty, or D, Jericho?
D.
Jericho.
Jericho.
Yep. This is pretty much easy mode.
This is easy mode.
All right. Next question. Skyrim is the 5th installment of what epic open-world video game series by Bethesda Softworks? There's only one answer here, so I can't say it.
The Elder Scrolls.
Yes.
Dude,
Good job, guys. All right, last question. Oh, sorry, last two questions. What is the name of the summer camp where Friday the 13th takes place? Is it A, Camp Death, D, Camp Crystal Lake, C, Camp Kikiwaka, or D, Camp Crude Valley?
Camp Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake, yeah.
All right. Yes, it is.
Let's
All right,
go.
last question. Which author of scary books holds the record for the most book-to-movie adaptations in the horror genre?
I know this.
Is it A, Stephen King, B. Wes Craven,
We can
C.
send it right now.
Edgar
We can
Allan
send this
Poe,
right now,
and
yeah.
D. Joe Hill.
It's Stephen
It's
King.
Stephen King.
Nice.
It's
Yeah,
Stephen King.
it is.
Dude.
Wow,
yeah,
I know.
is
These
so
were really easy questions. They weren't shooting to be hard. Besides, I could have given you all like video games from like the 1980s.
You should have.
Yeah, good luck.
Entertaining.
Good luck.
You should have.
Well, I did not expect that to go that fast. To be entirely honest with you.
Hold on. I have a small topic that I need to hear what you guys think.
Oh boy, here we go.
What is the most overrated game of all time?
Oh, Fortnite.
Fortnite? Overrated.
Kind of crazy.
Completely overrated.
Okay. Are we talking? Okay. You have to take into account early 2018 Fortnite was crazy.
It was.
I
It
don't
was
doubt
crazy.
that. No game is going to be overrated on release. On release, every game is going to be like,
Yeah, but that
oh,
wasn't
cool.
released though. It came out in 2017.
Well, a year. Cool. No game immediately becomes overrated. Let me correct myself. But to me, nowadays, Fortnite is completely overrated.
Okay.
It's definitely shot up way more than it is.
Okay.
It's been put too much on a pedestal for me. What about you?
I got one. It's kind of a crazy answer though. Minecraft.
Bruh.
Dude.
Well,
People say Minecraft is the greatest game ever. It's okay.
well, that would also be with like Steven's argument where like, but it's been,
because okay.
but
if
on
I were to answer
release,
the question, I would have said Red Dead Redemption 2 because I've heard people call it the greatest piece of entertainment, not video game, entertainment of all time, and that's
that's
blasphemy.
yeah, that's not,
That is
that's
blasphemy.
not,
That is blasphemy.
that is not anywhere close to what it is. I've played it myself, and I just
it's a good game.
It's a good game.
I'll admit it is a good game. It's just like
But
it's not for everyone.
It's still completely overrated.
And to like say it's the greatest piece of media ever is just crazy. I think that's crazy. But
Get closer, boy.
okay. But I think the most overrated game is Minecraft. People say Minecraft. Oh my god, it's the greatest game ever. It's really not.
That's true.
Whenever you play Minecraft, it's like for 2 weeks, and then after a while, you get bored. You get bored of Minecraft, and then you just like say it's the greatest game ever. It's just not true because you just get so bored of it so quickly. And
I'll
it's
say
like-
this. I think it's. I agree with you if you're playing solo.
Playing solo, yeah,
If
no,
you're playing with,
it's
if you're playing with other people, then I would say you're crazy. Because when you're playing with other people, it's probably
it's absolute chaos.
yeah.
But like alone, I can understand. It's a game that usually comes in like 2 week spurts. It's never usually a long run game. But to call it completely overrated, I think is a little bit over the top because playing alone is still fun even when it's in just 2 week spurts. A game to me, like, well, let's get down to the root of it. What do we consider a game? How do we consider it to be overrated? Like, what makes a game overrated? Is it like
how people view it.
oh, so like if it's put on a pedestal?
If somebody like let's take Red Dead Redemption 2 for example. If you're calling it the greatest piece of media ever, then I want you to compare it to some of the other media and then say it again.
Fair.
Like-
I consider a game overrated if it's overstepped. Like if people advertise it way too much, then I consider it overrated. I think Fortnite is overrated purely because of the fact that it's
still
so
getting
advertised.
advertised, yeah.
It's so advertised, but actually playing it is a whole nother story.
Yeah, I get it.
But with Minecraft, I have yet to see very many advertisements for Minecraft. Minecraft is kind of now in its own bubble. Like when it first came out, yeah, it was a lot of advertisement, but it was well deserved. Nowadays, it's more in kind of just its own little area where people have to find them for itself, not get it advertised.
I think it's gotten to the point where like you don't need to advertise it anymore because of like the amount of YouTubers playing it. But even then, people still say like, "Oh, Minecraft is the greatest game ever." It's just not. Like
That's
it's
fair,
just not
yeah.
a good. It's an amazing game, but it's just not the best. Like it gets boring, and I think that's what really does it for me. It just gets boring.
Well, then this brings up the argument. Since now we know what we believe is the most overrated game, what do we think is the greatest game of all time?
The greatest game of all time.
What deserves the title of the best game of all time?
I don't know, man. It's like my top 5 games could have an argument for number 1.
Well, if you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one that I could like
let's
forever.
yeah, let's like finalize it. If this is a game that the moment you pick it, all other video games will cease to exist.
Elden
This
Ring.
is the only video game you'll be able to play. Elden Ring?
Elden Ring.
Okay,
Elden
bro.
Ring. Elden Ring.
Okay,
There's
bro.
there's no other game that has expressed the world of fantasy better than Elden Ring. I'm sorry.
Mm.
Name another game. Name another game.
I
that
would
has
say it's a VR game.
expressed fantasy, medieval times in a better way than Elden Ring.
For Honor.
For Honor,
For Honor.
are you serious?
Yes.
Are
No.
you serious?
Yes, I'm 100%
Are you
serious.
serious?
100% serious.
Let's just
Hold
ignore.
on.
Let's just ignore what Garrett has to say right now.
Alright, bro. No, you don't get to
For
just
Honor
ignore me.
Is just
Bro.
no,
Bro, no.
Listen.
No.
Have you played For Honor?
Yes, it's horrible.
It's horrible. It's a bad. It's not a great game.
Bruh.
It's horrible.
Y'all don't know good games when you see it.
What I think is the most underrated game.
No, like the best
Like
game.
your
The best
favorite
game.
game,
My
yeah.
favorite
Yeah,
game.
let's say what is your favorite game, yeah.
I don't really have a favorite game. If I'm
Something
gonna
you
be
had to
honest,
play,
something kinda lame.
something you would have to play forever. Like every other game ceased to exist. This is the only game you can ever play.
Okay, well, I said Elden Ring is my favorite game, but I can distinguish best game of all time.
Okay.
There's a distinction. There.
I can have one guess. I have one guess to what
It's
you'll say.
The greatest game of all time? Probably. Oh, that's really hard.
There's
'cause
one
you have-
name I'm waiting
you
for.
have different genres.
Okay,
You have,
I
like-
think if we're saying best video game, we definitely need to get very specific.
Yeah.
Because there are good games per genre. Like I believe even in the awards, there is like different genres.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you win for
Yeah.
certain genres. So we'll say, best open world game. We'll say open world.
Elden Ring.
What do you think?
I wouldn't say that's the best open world game. I mean, I don't really play that many open world games, but if I had to say the best one I've ever played was probably Breath of the Wild, Legends of Zelda.
Now I'm definitely a little biased, but for me it's Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Now here, listen, hear me out.
It's okay.
Hear me out.
It's okay.
Okay, but to me, I don't usually play open world games. They're not just always my style.
Subnautica.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, actually, you have a very good point.
Subnautica.
You know what? In all terms, that might damn well be the best open world game in the world. Like, I don't think anything will top it.
Okay. I think it set the tone for open world
For what,
games.
like, for what they should be.
For what they should be, yes, but I don't think it's the greatest.
I would consider it the greatest, only because
Like,
even
of
though
all time, I don't know if I
well,
can
like
do that.
think about it. I mean, we can take video games in real life kind of hand in hand. If you want to consider it setting a tone,
Yeah.
I would say what sets the tone can be considered the greatest for a long time. Like
That's fair.
even
Yeah.
to this day, we can talk about the freaking U.S. We had the best president of all time was George Washington. He set the precedent for what every president after him should
We're
be.
getting into politics here.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, no, just listen. Like, not like that. I'm saying that what sets a precedent for what the rest should become
Yes.
should have the title of the best.
Yeah.
So
I get what you're saying.
I do think that's what's deserved.
But like, think about it. Look at would you consider God of War 2018 open world?
No,
No.
It's not open
no.
world. Okay.
It's a set because you're stuck on one path.
Yeah.
That's true.
If you can't go in every direction you want, then I wouldn't consider it open world.
You think, okay, so let's say you take a look at Elden Ring, for example. One game of the year. One was blown away. One's probably the most awards I've ever seen in a Game Awards. You want to compare, let's say, Elden Ring. You look at Elden Ring and then you look at Subnautica. You're telling me you're choosing Subnautica over Elden Ring?
In my personal opinion, yes.
I would choose
Personally, yes.
Just think, okay. Okay. How am I gonna get this through to you? Okay, you have Elden Ring, right? I think has probably some of the best visuals I've ever seen. In a
That's
video game.
crazy. Hey, you were right, by the way.
What?
It won the Elden Ring has won the most awards ever.
Yeah. It's
It surpassed The
unbelievable.
Last of Us and The Witcher 3 in terms of awards.
Last of Us Part 2.
I also think The Last of Us was also overrated.
Dang. But yeah, it apparently won 324 awards.
Yeah, that's. I don't know how you're gonna compare that to Subnautica. I just don't.
I think it's just in terms of like not only style of game,
I think it's
but
just preference.
yeah, it also
That's
can
just-
come down to
that's
just
just-
personal
yeah,
opinion. While you think it may be Elden Ring, I think it's Subnautica. Personally, I just like calming. It can be calming, it can be terrifying, but
Yeah.
I personally just kind of like open world games where it's just kind of like a calming area.
That's
Elden Ring can be everything but that.
Yeah.
But
It looks amazing. I'll
Yeah.
give you this. I play the game still, and I'm still trying to play it better.
It's-
But its scenery is amazing. But just about everywhere you go, something is trying to kill you.
That's true. There's something cool. It's not really related, but I was gonna get on Friday. I'm gonna get Dark Souls 3. Dude, that game I've seen gameplay of it. It looks so cool. Because it's not open world like Elden Ring, but like it's like on a set path, kind of like God of War. But it's like it's a Souls game, you know, like
Yeah.
it's kind of that format, and I thought that was really cool.
There's a game I saw someone play that I want to play. I saw someone play that I want to play myself. I just need to find its title because I absolutely forgot.
What did it look like?
It was like, listen, I like, screw me. I like, hate me if you want. I like freaking anime type games. They just look cool. But
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
here
that.
it
There's
is.
nothing wrong with that.
I play an anime
First
football
Berserker
game.
Kazan.
Say it again.
I've
The
seen that.
first
I've seen
Berserker
that.
Kazan is one of our newer release games. This game looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I've seen that game.
It
looks
looks
pretty good.
amazing. And I saw someone play just the demo and then like the first hour or so. It looks and plays amazingly.
Yeah.
It's like if the power of God of War met the open worldness of Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It
This
honestly
when did it
looks.
come out?
It's out.
It is.
How much is it?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head,
Dude,
but
this looks fire.
dude, I'm telling you, this game is one contender for this year. This game has to be a contender for this year's game awards.
Yeah.
Like, there's no argument about it. Cause
That's a
It-
cool name too.
I
Yeah,
know,
it's pretty cool.
and I watched just the
Oh, the first Berserker.
yeah, the first Berserker. It's but honest, this game has to be a contender for this year. There's no argument about that.
Yeah, I could see it. I haven't seen any gameplay, but I can just tell from the art. Yeah, I could just tell from the art.
Dude, and the crazy part is the art doesn't change. Like the art you get in cutscenes looks looks very
Is it
close
like-
to
it's
just the gameplay too.
Oh, okay.
Like the look of the character doesn't really change, and like,
I don't think it should.
well, no, I meant like because like in cutscenes, like in certain games, the character will look more defined in the cutscene than he does in gameplay.
Yeah.
Like that's usually older games, but still newer games kind of tend
Yeah,
to take
yeah,
it
yeah.
because
I know what
it's
you're saying. I
easier.
get it.
Like God of War 3 or like all of the older God of Wars.
Yes.
He looked better in the cutscenes than he did in the gameplay. Because it's easier to make a cutscene than it is a game character back then. But
Yeah.
today, people still like to take that easy way out. But this one doesn't. How you look in the cutscenes is very close to how you look in gameplay.
I think if we're talking about games that we're excited for, if we or want to get, you guys know a little game called Little Nightmares?
Yes.
Yes.
Little Nightmares.
I played the
3.
first one. I loved it.
Little
There's a
Nightmares
third?
3?
Wait, hold on. I
Little
didn't hear
Nightmares
about this.
3, It's
Hold
coming
up.
out this year.
I
This
didn't-
year. It's coming out this year.
There's another.
There's a third one?
Yep, it's coming out this year.
What?
It's insane. It's coming out like later this year.
Oh,
looks
is it
insane.
Please tell me it's multiplayer.
It's 2-player.
Oh, nice.
So it's 2-player.
Bruh. Is it cross-platform, though?
Well, I mean, me and you have Xbox, so we don't have to.
No, my problem, remember, I have the older
Oh,
model.
yeah.
It can't always run newer games.
You probably can't even get it if you have the older.
No,
Xbox.
if it's on cloud gaming, if it's through Game Pass, I can play it through cloud.
Yeah.
I can still play it then.
Yeah.
But
I
if
wanna
not,
get
then
this
I'm
game
screwed
so
there.
Bad. I
Uh,
want to get it so bad.
and if you want, we can talk about more games that were released. Doom Dark Ages,
What? We've been skimming over that one, dude.
like,
It's
bro, Doom Dark Ages, I think is the best that Doom has done so far.
ooh, that's a hot take.
The
That's
close,
hot. That's
the
pretty hot.
close, the close, the closer to it, I think, is either Eternal or 2018.
2016.
Is it 2016?
It's 2016.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm horrible with time.
Yeah.
But Doom Eternal, the newer one before Dark Ages, that was good. But I played the first level of Dark Ages, and I really didn't know what to
Give
say.
it a little. Okay, I'll say this. I think Doom Eternal is still better for now.
For
I
now,
think so.
For
too.
now, but I will say it when Doom Dark Ages gets more updates and like maybe like the next months or so, it could have a chance of beating Eternal. But Eternal was amazing. You know, Doom Eternal that didn't win a single award at Game Awards. It
really?
didn't win a single award.
Of what year?
2020.
That
It
No,
didn't-
you're-
I don't even have any
lying.
words for
There's
that.
no
That's-
way.
That's just
It didn't win at a single award.
okay. Well, who was it going up against?
2020. That was The Last of Us. That was when The Last of Us won it.
Okay, so
He's not lying. No, Doom Eternal did not win any awards at the Game Awards 2020. It was nominated for multiple categories, but didn't win a single one.
That's
how you know
horrendous.
that the awards are a load of malarkey.
I'm telling you now, 2024, absolute bull. There's no way.
Yeah.
I think Black Myth Wukong should have beat
Yeah,
what
I
won.
agree. I
Black
agree.
Myth Wukong is like
who plays
okay.
Astrobot?
If you want to
plays Astrobot?
if you want to compare the time periods, right? For 2018, if I remember, God of War won it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that Black Myth Wukong was the God of War of 2024. In terms of release, in terms of look, in terms of gameplay,
Yeah.
it was so close and looked just as good. I don't know how it didn't win Game of the Year.
Dude, it was the 2022 Game Awards was stacked. Like the 3 nominations was I think The Last of Us Part 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, and then freaking God of War Ragnarok. It was no, I'm getting mixed up. Who?
You said 2022, right?
It's 2022.
That was Elden Ring. Not instead of Red Dead Redemption 2, it was Elden Ring. It was Elden Ring versus God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, God of War.
That was the
So
war.
the nominated games for 2022 Game of the Year was A Plague Tale Requiem, Stray, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Elden Ring.
It was either Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It wasn't the other.
Stray
other
was
ones.
cool. I think Stray was cool.
Stray was cool,
Stray
but
was
like
cool,
it
but
was.
to rank
I know, like
it's
in
not
comparison,
competing with the other two.
it's not comparable, but
It's-
because it's cool, but it's not nearly comparable to the rest.
Do they have to have like a set number of games that they have to nominate for Game of the Year? Is it like
I
is
don't
it only
think so.
6?
I think it's usually 6. Yeah. 'Cause
Check
all-
2018, see if it was
Let's
6.
see 2018.
I don't think there is a limit on nominees.
No, because for 2018 it was also.
Yeah,
6.
no, there isn't. Well, hold on.
Yeah, no. 2018 was stacked. It had Spider-Man. Wait, hold
Yeah.
on. It was Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, typically there's only 6.
Where
I
is-
can't even see that.
Yeah, typically they limit it to 6 games. Odyssey?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, I was about to say there's another game I played that had Odyssey. Yeah, apparently only 6 games out of 100.
Monster Hunter Worlds.
Monster Hunter Worlds?
Yeah, it
That
was
was
nominated for
Was-
Game of the Year.
Well, that makes sense. Plus Wilds is out now, so
I haven't played it. Never mind.
I played the beta.
Uh-huh.
My brother played the beta and he has the game now. It's
I heard great things about it.
in the beta it was horrendous, but on release it looks and plays so much better. I'm gonna tell you now in Worlds, right? You have very good weapon definition, like how they look, their designs, they're cool, they fit, and they don't glitch.
Yeah.
When I tried to play the beta of Wilds, you know what my weapon was?
What?
A bunch of blocks.
Oh.
A bunch of blocks and little frames. That's
One
it.
of the biggest robberies is besides 2024 when Astrobot won it was in 2021. Resident Evil Village lost to It Takes Two.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
That's
that is-
crazy.
That is the biggest robbery I think I've ever seen in my
I
life.
feel like this is how you
And then-
just know that the award system is just like it's just wrong
It's-
because it just gives it to like the most random games like
I
Astrobot.
think they base it more on either. I don't think they base it on revenue. I think they base it on design, on like actual.
I don't care.
But
It was one of the
but
greatest.
if-
I know. I'm just saying, like, because we can have our own opinions, but it's
Yeah.
ultimately down to the criteria that they judge in. If they judge by revenue, it would depend on who made the most sales. If it was on actual game design, then it comes down to a lot more decision
It's
making.
game design, and then it's Resident Evil Village.
I know, so it would come down to how they choose to judge the game.
But even if no matter what you judge it on, what aspects are there of Resident Evil Village that are not better than It Takes Two?
I couldn't name one off the top of my head.
Garrett,
And then-
you're kind of making an argument against yourself here with the whole design and stuff. Because
No, I'm not arguing that one is better than the other.
No, with your what's it called? With you saying stuff like how they judge it, like based off of design, all that stuff. If you're saying that, wouldn't Black Myth Wukong still win?
I'm not saying that's how they did it. I'm
I'm
just
just
saying
saying-
that
no,
what
you're
if
just saying
that
what
might
if.
be. I know. I don't. So I don't know.
It's getting
It's simple. I just don't know.
Guys, calm down. Calm
And then y'all heard about Split Fiction?
No.
Oh, okay.
Split Fiction?
Split Fiction is basically It Takes Two Part 2.
Oh.
It's a similar premise.
It Takes Two.
Oh
Well,
wait, I've seen this. Yeah.
yeah, Split Fiction. It looks cool. It looks like a really good game.
Yeah.
Like It Takes Two had its ups and downs
Yeah.
in their look, but Split Fiction looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's time we jump into who would win.
I think so.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm just gonna randomize, see which one we get.
Well, here, Garrett.
All right, I looked at the first one. What?
Yeah. 9:30 is our advertisement.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's fine. We still shoot for.
We
We still
could
shoot
do
for
like
one. We'll shoot for one.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go for a simple one. T-800 versus the Predator.
Is it a fist fight or a gunfight?
With their weaponry.
Oh.
So that means the Predator has his camouflage, his little plasma shoulder cannon, his claw, and his mask.
I think Predator might take it.
I think the Predator.
I think Predator. If it's a fist fight, then we can talk.
Yeah.
If it's a fist fight, because Terminator,
He's literally.
He's
a
a
robot.
he's a machine.
robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, a Predator was able to pick up a xenomorph and slam him through tons of concrete pillars in a straight line. So physical strength might
Terminator
not.
probably do that too.
I know. I'm just saying it might not be as close of as like far out of a fight as we might think, because
Yeah.
the Predator are still physically strong.
Yeah.
Like they're not weak without their weaponry, because we've seen that they can manhandle everything.
Yeah, that's
So I don't think it'd be as far out of a fight as we think.
But the thing is the Predator's like being invisible would not work on the Terminator, because he can.
True.
He has like he can see like heat signatures and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Predator could see heat signatures too. So hiding isn't an option for either of them.
The Terminator doesn't have any heat signatures.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
What about like maybe just extreme cold? I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well,
What are you talking about?
no, he could just hide in cold areas. If he hid behind a friggin' wall, he wouldn't be able to
Terminator,
see.
the Predator would not see the Terminator coming.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm gonna switch my answer to Terminator. If it's a fist fight.
If it's a fist fight,
Is
but
it-
Garrett said like they have their weapons
With their weaponry.
I think
So that
I
means
still think
Terminator has
Predator wins.
his
with their
shotgun.
weapons. Okay, yeah, then maybe. But the Predator can't see him.
Yeah, but the Predator also has much more advanced
But,
technology.
like, with the little-
He wouldn't have to.
He doesn't have to. He's just standing right there. He's like, I am the Dominator. Like he doesn't need to do anything.
He does. Yeah, and Terminator's unlikely to hide.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Terminator, I don't think will run and hide.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll give it to Predator.
I think all he needs alone is that little shoulder blast.
That
And,
shoulder
like,
cannon
that
can
thing
turn
alone-
just about anything
yeah.
to dust. That's
Yeah.
not
It would have
arguable.
been a better argument if it was T1000.
T1000, yeah, that would be a better
Because
argument.
think about it, he would get
Is
blown
it?
up by the thing.
Isn't
but
he
would
weak
just
by
come back.
to extreme heat though?
No.
Or was it? What was he
It's-
weak to?
When you have liquid metal going into molten liquid metal, you're gonna melt. But like that's only very specific.
Yeah, and then the
scenarios.
rifle, the thing he has on his shoulder is a plasma rifle, so that thing is very hot.
Yeah, but it's not, it doesn't mean that he's not resistant to heat. Because think about it, he was getting shot by bullets. Those are really hot.
I mean, you could consider that.
Yeah.
I mean, in certain terms though, a bullet compared to a plasma rifle, that's a whole different level of heat.
I get it, but
Plasma is superheated air.
I get it, but like you gotta think, he's already liquid. You can't make it. You can just make him more liquid. Even if you shoot him with the plasma rifle, he'll probably gain more.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. In certain terms, I don't 100% think so, because he lost to lava, and I it could have been just him mixing with liquid,
Yeah.
but it could also have been just the heat that was being he was being exposed to.
Maybe.
It could be either or. If it was the heat side, then it would be the Predator's win because that plasma
Yeah.
rifle is way hotter than lava. That
Yeah.
thing is gonna torch right through it. The one problem Predator is gonna have is that plasma rifle cannot fire consistently. It has a cooldown
Yeah.
because if it fires consistently, it's gonna burn up. So there is one weakness there. But then there's also like you could also talk about which Predator because there's that big mecha suit Predator that
Yeah.
we saw in one of the newer ones
Yeah.
that took over a human and had this massive sniper like sized shoulder cannon. So that would probably destroy T-1000.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely determines on which version you're talking about, what they have, and where they are. So we definitely need to take those into account.
Well, for now, let's get a say from our sponsors.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and we're back. What's up, guys?
we're gonna have a few more of those, but all right, I think we jump right back in.
Okay.
So we settled that between the T-800 and the Predator, with all of their weapons, the Predator would come out on top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, next one. I'm trying to figure out which of these would be a harder question. Oh, okay. Ultron versus Skynet.
That's a good
And
one.
we'll be more specific. Comic Ultron.
Oh,
It's Ultron.
it's Ultron.
It's
It's
Ultron.
Ultron.
Comic
Come on.
Ultron? Yeah, it's over.
And then we'll say the Skynet that was behind the one that was part liquid metal and the one that was
Ultron.
still Ultron?
Still Ultron.
Ultron.
Like,
Do
Come
you
on.
do you understand how powerful Ultron is in the comics?
A little bit.
It's not Skynet's not touching him.
yeah, Skynet's
Ultron is taking over Skynet, and Skynet
yeah.
is becoming one with Ultron.
Even like, even just MCU Ultron, that'll be more than enough
Yeah.
to defeat Skynet.
No, that's
Think about
fair.
it. Skynet is just a rogue program.
Yeah.
That and what no one talks about is how when Vision was holding onto Ultron's head,
Uh-huh.
he gained a better understanding of what the Mind Stone was because that was Ultron's primary function.
Yeah.
What he was, if I remember correctly, he was the encrypted message or the encrypted code that was inside the Mind Stone.
Uh-huh.
I think so. Yeah.
So he has like a force of nature for a brain. So I think that's
Yeah.
fair. So I think Ultron wins that by a
Ultron wins
landslide.
by a landslide.
Okay, we'll say, which is a good one. Oh, Spawn versus Ghost Rider.
Ooh.
I think Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider? Why?
Just with the pen and stare.
Okay,
Pen and
what
stare?
Ghost Rider is it?
We'll say. So, what's the strongest form of Spawn in comic? Because you're more knowledgeable in
I
Spawn.
don't really read that much Spawn, to be honest. I think it's like King Spawn.
Okay,
or
well, the
God
strongest
Spawn.
form of Ghost Rider that I know is Cosmic Ghost Rider.
The strongest form of Ghost Rider is like he's like omniversal.
I think it's Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I think that is his
He-
strongest.
he's like
form.
I think he's like one of the strongest Marvel characters in existence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's up there.
I think I'm going Ghost Rider.
Pen and
I'm going with
Stare.
Ghost Rider. Just with the pen and stare alone.
Does he regret his actions?
Spawn regrets his actions, yes.
No, that's fair. Pen and Stare would do
Yeah.
him in then immediately.
Yeah.
Pen and Stare is already, and you stack that on top of him being Cosmic Ghost Rider with that Pen and Stare.
Yeah.
That's it's game over.
Yeah.
That's it's over.
That is like
It's
honestly, I feel like that's
Jover.
nice. Okay, you know what? How about Mr. Fantastic versus Plastic Man? Two people that stretch.
Okay, so here's the thing: Batman himself couldn't beat Mr. Plastic Man.
Mr.
Yeah,
Plastic Man.
Mr. Plastic Man.
Mr. Plastic Man. But you couldn't beat him because there's no way to beat him. Like
He has
his
no weakness.
contingency plan was to freeze him and just hope for the best.
Well, yeah, you can't stretch if you're frozen.
Yeah.
Isn't that like a similar weakness for Mr. Fantastic? If he's super cold, he can't move, he can't stretch.
I think so. That's in like the movie, I think. But I've seen multiple times Mr. Fantastic. He can die. Like he can get stretched out. And I remember one time he got bitten by Venom, and like Mr. Fantastic can die, but
Can Plastic Man?
Plastic Man cannot.
And
That's the
the
thing.
crazier part is, Mr. Fantastic can stretch his body and change his form. The difference is, if I remember, Plastic Man doesn't only change his form; he can change himself on a molecular level. He can literally change his composition.
I think I'm going Plastic Man.
I'm going with Plastic
I'll
Man.
go Plastic.
I would say Plastic
I would
Man
go Plastic
because being able to change how you look, like, because he can turn into just like Mr. Fantastic, turn into a giant like anything
Yeah.
pretty much. But
But on a,
Plastic Man
on a
could just turn
molecular
into
level-
a cup.
Yeah.
He could legit just turn into a cup that looks like a normal cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that Mr. Fantastic turns into still has the blue look of his suit because he
Yeah.
can't change his actual appearance.
Yeah. I'm going Plastic Man.
Yeah, I'm going with Plastic Man.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah.
All right, here's a good one. This is more of a battle of IQ. Megamind versus Tony Stark.
Honestly,
Ooh.
I think Tony Stark.
I would disagree.
I was gonna say Megamind.
I would say Megamind.
I was gonna say
Really?
Megamind.
Megamind, okay, I'll admit, Tony makes some crazy powerful weaponry, and he making the Iron Man suit from scratch, and then learning as he goes. Megamind, on a whim, created a sun ray that vaporized the
true.
mountainside.
That is true.
And bro didn't learn very much. He
That
simply
is-
said, "I'm smart. Let's make a ray that is powered by the sun and vaporize an entire cliffside."
That
Granted,
is a
he
good
could
point.
not kill Metro Man. I think if he killed Metro Man, he would fare so much better
Yeah.
because Metro Man is crazy powerful. But I think in a battle of IQs, I
Oh.
think Megamind would
Honestly,
overtake.
Yeah. In a battle of IQ, Megamind. But if it's just a normal battle,
Then yeah, Tony,
yeah,
because
Tony for sure.
well, there's the was it
What about
dehydration gun?
the giant mech that he fought with against.
It was his contingency plan. Remember?
Yeah.
That was Megamind. If Megamind knew, he created he basically pulled a Batman. He created a giant mech that, if all else failed, would come and fight Metro Man. So that mech, I think, is like, and remember, even it took the sun ray to beat that thing.
Yeah.
So I think that mech would definitely fare him better, but I think it would also depend on how far is Iron Man in his learning. Are we talking Infinity War? Because in Infinity War, he's getting cooked.
yeah.
Because Superman, or not Superman, Iron Man could survive in space because of his suit.
Superman.
I know, right? Awesome. That's his new title.
Superman versus Metro Man.
We'll worry about that later. But Iron Man has learned so much throughout all that he's done. I think much more than Megamind ever has.
Yeah.
That, and I'm pretty sure Iron Man's older than Megamind.
I think so too.
I think Tony's
I don't even
older.
know I don't
How
even
old
know
is
how
Megamind?
old-
I don't-
Let me search that up.
He wasn't on Earth. He was on Earth for a while. I'll look up how old is Tony because I forgot. Not Tony Hawk.
He's in his early to mid 30s.
And Tony Stark
Tony
is
Stark's
53.
old. Yeah.
And yeah, no, Iron Man has so much more experience.
Yeah, but think about it. And Megamind was able to do this in his early 30s.
Mm.
And then imagine if he gets older, when he gets into like his late 50s. Oh, I think I'm taking Megamind easily.
Yeah.
And then they had to cook him with the new series.
Dude, that's
We don't talk
so
about
It's
bad.
so
Wait,
bad.
Wait, what new series? I don't know what you're talking about. That
It was
never happened.
it was a TV show on
No,
like.
that,
He
that-
knows.
That never happened.
Relax.
Oh yeah, it didn't happen.
That-
That's
that-
what I
Yeah,
thought.
it's not Megamind.
Yeah,
It's not Megamind.
That's
It's
his
just
evil
not
clone.
Megamind.
That's
It's not him.
Mind Mega.
All right.
That was big brain.
This one is going to be more reliant on two people's or more your knowledge versus my knowledge.
Okay.
So, All for One versus Deadpool. Now, I have an argument.
Do you consider Deadpool's
Yeah.
like his healing factor a quirk?
Well, in certain terms, yes, but even then it wouldn't matter. Because even if All For One couldn't steal his quirk, for those who don't know, All For One is from an anime. His ability allows him to steal others' abilities, use them for himself at full capacity, or give them to others. My problem here is when we see him, he has all of these quirks.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And one quirk he acquired, I'll say this is like War. This is War Saga. All For One, meaning he has Ares' reverse quirk.
Yeah.
Basically, the reverse quirk allows you to revert someone to a previous form, to what they were. Meaning that if we're talking about Deadpool